Today is the day. It's finally election day, and if you're as eager as I am, you're in for a very important breakdown. Recent polls have delivered a seismic shift in this race, unveiling surprising leads in crucial swing states and turning the electoral map on its head. Since it's the big day, there's no room for a tie in the polls this time around. I'm locking in a winner based on the current trends. Record-breaking early voter turnout has only added to the suspense, with last-minute shifts creating one of the most unprecedented presidential races we've seen. Get ready for a complete map reveal, unlike anything I've shown before. Let's dive in and see how these new polls might determine the final outcome. Let's start right away in what was the first shocking poll to come out in these final days. In Iowa, the latest poll from the Des Moines Register and Mediacom, conducted by the highly respected J. Ann Selzer, revealed a surprising shift. Vice President Kamala Harris now leads Donald Trump by 47% to 44%, marking an 11-point swing toward Harris. In a state Trump won by over 8 points in 2020, this shift is driven by a significant increase in support from independent female voters who have turned strongly in Harris's favor. Known for her spot-on accuracy in Iowa, Selzer has a history of predicting pivotal moments, including Obama's groundbreaking 2008 caucus win and Trump's highly unexpected strength in 2016. With Iowa now classified as lean blue for Harris, this late-game development added an unexpected twist just as Election Day arrives. Adding to the intrigue, Iowa and Ohio have voted together for the past 2 decades, both flipping red in 2016 and staying aligned through each presidential cycle since 2004. With Harris's lead in Iowa, all eyes are now on Ohio to see if the trend will hold. This would be very interesting because Ohio was once reliably Democratic, but has shifted to the GOP, with 2022 seeing the Republican governor win by a substantial margin. However, based on these states' current 20-year voting pattern, that means I'll be marking Ohio as tilt blue for this scenario. Now let's finish the rest of the map and see how these latest shifts could impact the final outcome. Going to the West Coast, Harris holds an enormous 25-point lead in California, reflecting her long-standing ties and reinforcing the state's solid blue status. California's unwavering support helps solidify the area in this election. In Oregon, Harris maintains a robust double-digit lead, securing the state in the likely blue category. This stability in Oregon contributes to the region's consistent Democratic leaning. Up in Washington, Harris enjoys a significant 18-point advantage, underscoring the state's deeply rooted Democratic alignment. Washington's steady support firmly places it in Harris's column, further reinforcing her strength along the entire West Coast. Before we continue, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay up to date on everything related to the 2024 election. We'll be posting a new video every day until Election Day, and be sure to drop a comment with the state you're from and which candidate has your vote. Can't wait to see where everyone stands. Meanwhile, Nevada stands as one of the most competitive battlegrounds this cycle. The shocking New York Times Siena poll shows Harris with a 3-point edge, adding momentum for her in a traditionally close state. Clark County, Nevada's largest and a Democratic anchor, will be instrumental for Harris's success. Although Republicans have recently gained traction here, Harris's campaign is banking on strong turnout in core Democratic areas to keep Nevada in the lean blue column. As Election Day approaches, both campaigns are making a final push in this high-stakes state. In Arizona, the latest poll places Trump ahead by 4 points, pushing the state further into the lean red category. With Maricopa County, home to about 60% of Arizona's total vote, acting as a key indicator, any shift in this area could alter Arizona's outcome. Harris's team has intensified efforts in Maricopa, recognizing that narrowing the gap here is critical for flipping Arizona. In New Mexico, Harris holds a solid 6.3% advantage, keeping the state comfortably in the lean blue category. While Republicans have aimed to make inroads, New Mexico's strong Democratic foundation has helped solidify Harris's position. Her campaign is also focusing on boosting turnout to secure the state as a dependable Democratic territory in future cycles, especially with the significant support from urban areas like Albuquerque. In Colorado, Harris's 11-point lead underscores the state's leftward trajectory. Urban expansion, especially around Denver and Boulder, has helped shift Colorado firmly into the likely blue column, adding to Harris's strength across the western states and contributing a reliable block of electoral votes. Across the central U.S., Trump holds commanding leads in Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho, where his margins have historically ranged from 20 to 40 points. Montana similarly stands as a Republican stronghold, with Trump ahead by a little over 18 points, firmly placing it in the solid red category. These states continue to anchor Trump's support in the heartland, reinforcing his base in the region. Nebraska's 2nd congressional district is a notable outlier in a largely red state, with Harris leading by double digits, placing it in the likely blue category. The remaining parts of Nebraska, along with North and South Dakota, Kansas, and Oklahoma, remain safely in the Republican column. In Texas, Trump's lead has widened to 7%, marking a modest gain from his margin in 2020 and keeping Texas securely in the lean red category. Harris's team continues to track Texas's shifting demographics, seeing the state as a potential long-term opportunity for Democrats. Adding to the intrigue is the Senate race, where Democrat Colin Allred is making significant strides, making Texas a focal point in this election cycle. In Alaska, Trump is ahead by 8 points, marking it as a likely Republican state. Conversely, Hawaii remains a solid Democratic stronghold, with Harris benefiting from the state's long-standing blue alignment. In the Midwest, Harris has been focused on securing Minnesota alongside critical states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania to build a robust blue wall. These states are crucial for her pathway to victory, especially after Trump's unexpected wins against Clinton. Recent polling across this region indicates tight races, reinforcing the Midwest's potential as a decisive battleground this election. Harris's path through the Midwest could be the key, while Trump's strategy relies on flipping just one of these states. With these latest surprising polling shifts, the strategy may be shifting before our eyes. In Minnesota, Harris holds a steady 6% lead, keeping the state in the lean blue category. The political landscape here is shaped heavily by Hennepin County, which houses nearly a quarter of the state's voters. A strong showing in this Democratic stronghold should cement Minnesota in Harris's column, reinforcing the state's consistent trend toward Democrats since 1972. In Illinois, Harris holds a commanding 17-point lead, marking it as a solid blue state and one of her strongest Democratic strongholds in the Midwest. Meanwhile, Indiana is expected to remain firmly in Trump's column, with his double-digit advantage keeping the state in the likely red category, consistent with past election outcomes. Turning to Wisconsin, Harris leads by 2 points, a critical edge in one of the most hotly contested states this cycle. High turnout is anticipated in Milwaukee County, a Democratic stronghold that could play a decisive role in Harris's favor. Wisconsin remains classified as tilt blue for now, as both campaigns intensify efforts in this battleground, recognizing its potential to sway the national results. Michigan shows an exceptionally close race, with recent Siena polling placing Harris and Trump neck and neck at 47% each. The recent UAW strike highlights the crucial role of labor and working class voters, with Harris aiming to leverage strong union support. Both campaigns have prioritized Michigan's 15 electoral votes, recognizing that even a small shift here could be decisive on Election Day. Based on recent trends and Michigan being one of the more liberal states in the blue wall, I will make it tilt blue. In the Northeast, Harris holds steady, with several states firmly in her favor. Vermont, Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. remain solidly Democratic. Even New Jersey appears secure for Harris, despite recent challenges faced by Democrats in the state. In New York, Harris has a comfortable lead of 14 points, marking it as a solid blue state for the Democrats. New Hampshire currently leans blue for Harris, with a polling lead of approximately 5%. However, the most recent poll from Dartmouth shows Harris ahead by a massive 28 points. In Maine, it presents a slightly different picture. Harris leads statewide by a strong 17 points, though Maine's electoral history has shown more variation. Clinton won the state by just 3% in 2016, while Biden expanded the margin to under 10% in 2020. Harris appears secure in Maine's 1st congressional district, while the 2nd district still leans red, reflecting Trump's historical appeal there. In the Southeast, Trump's base remains solid, with states like Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama all positioned firmly in his favor. Trump enjoys a substantial 23-point lead in Tennessee, and both Kentucky and West Virginia show similarly comfortable Republican margins. South Carolina, classified as likely red, further illustrates the GOP's strong foothold across the region. Florida, long seen as a battleground, has shown a steady shift toward the GOP in recent cycles. Trump's 3-point win in 2020 and DeSantis's 20-point victory in the 2022 governor's race highlight this trend. Currently, Trump leads by 7 points, keeping Florida in the lean red category. However, Harris's improved polling compared to Biden's last cycle suggests the gap could narrow as Election Day approaches, making it a key state to watch. Now we have the final 3 states, and all 3 are extremely important. In Virginia, a traditionally Democratic-leaning state, Kamala Harris appears set to pick up the state this cycle, leading Trump by 6.3% overall, with some polls suggesting an even larger advantage. Virginia remains lean blue. The state's history of Democratic support makes it unlikely to shift toward battleground status this year. While Republicans had hoped to make gains, the numbers indicate Harris is well on track to secure Virginia's place in the Democratic column in 2024. Georgia, with its essential 16 electoral votes, is yet another fiercely contested state in this election. Harris currently holds a 1% edge in the NYT poll, making it one of the most crucial states for both campaigns. Securing Georgia, along with her leads in other key states like Pennsylvania, would considerably enhance Harris's chances. At present, Georgia is categorized as tilt blue. In Pennsylvania, the high-stakes 19 electoral votes could very well determine the election's outcome. The Siena poll shows Harris and Trump tied at 48%, underscoring Pennsylvania's role as a critical battleground. Early voting trends have been very promising for Democrats, with nearly 1.8 million ballots cast so far, 57% from Democrats and 33% from Republicans, reflecting strong early turnout. Based on these recent trends, I'll be marking Pennsylvania as tilt blue, positioning it as a must-win state that could solidify Harris's path to victory. With the electoral map now complete, the latest numbers from the New York Times, Siena, and Selzer polls reveal a landscape that feels both surprising and unprecedented, especially on the day of the election. Harris leads in many other outlets' final polls, showing a strong advantage across key battlegrounds and even tightening races in traditionally red states. As we head into this high-stakes showdown, these polling margins give Harris a notable edge. If the latest projections from these top-rated pollsters hold, Harris could be on the brink of a resounding victory, reshaping the electoral landscape in ways few anticipated. Now, I will be posting more videos today, including my final prediction. It will look a lot different from this map, as I feel this is more of a best-case scenario for Harris. So make sure you have notifications on so you don't miss it. Keep in mind, this is just a projection based on recent polling data and trends, and things can shift quickly. Make sure to stay informed, check multiple sources, and follow updates from trusted sources as Election Day approaches. Please share this video to remind others not to let up. Every single vote counts. No matter what you hear or even see on my channel, showing up at the polls is our civic duty. Even if your state feels solidly in one direction, your vote is key in local races that can make an enormous difference in your community. Make your voice count and be part of the process. Let me end by quickly explaining the map colors, which indicate the level of confidence and margin of victory in each state. Safe states are projected wins by 15 plus points, with little chance of an upset. Likely states are margins between 8 and 15 points, fairly secure but not guaranteed. Lean states are tighter races with a 3 to 8 point margin, where the leader is favored but the outcome could shift. Tilt states are the closest contests, with margins under 3 points, making them true battlegrounds. These colors provide a snapshot of how secure or competitive each state is, offering insight into where candidates are focusing their efforts as Election Day approaches. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for daily updates as we approach Election Day. Wait, that's today.